Jesus is first addressing this idea of self-righteousness. Now, I've worked with youth for about 25 years, and I don't think most of them know what self-righteousness is, but they love to talk about self-righteous Christians and hypocritical Christians. But this idea that somehow, some way that I think or you think that you can make yourself right with God by the things that you do. Not possible. Can't happen. And yet when you see this Pharisee, what is he doing? He's laying out all of the things that he's accomplished. All of the things that he has done. But here's the thing. When you find people that do that, and they exist in this world. There may be some of you in this room right now. There are certainly those down the street and all over this valley that think somehow that they can do the things that they need to do to make themselves right with God. But here's the problem. Their measuring stick is the problem. You see, if I was to call my daughter Maddie up here right now and have her stand next to me, you would go, Maddie is short. Chris is tall. But then if Paul Hoffman were here and you were to have Paul come up stand next to us, you would say, Pastor Chris is short compared to Paul. But then if you were to put Paul up against this building and this roof, you go, wow, Paul is really short. But then you put this building up against the Wasatch, you go, wow, that building is really short. Then if you put the Wasatch up against the planet, you would go, wow, the Wasatch are really short. Then if you put the planet up against the scope of the entire universe, you would think, wow, that planet is really short. But then you put that universe up against the God who holds all of existence in the palm of his hand, who spoke it into existence with a word, you would say, wow, all of creation is really short. So then you come down to your righteousness and you put that up against God's, and suddenly you find that you fall really short. That there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can say that can put us anywhere in God's address, in his zip code. There's nothing. We are so far removed from the righteous, holy God, we are hopeless in ourselves, which is why we then see this tax collector. He recognizes his state. He recognizes his sinfulness. He beats on his chest. He cries out to God for mercy, asking God to give him something that he is not deserving of. He recognizes the desperate state of his affairs, and he cries out to God in desperation to extend his mercy. And Jesus says, this man is justified. This man is declared righteous. This man, because of his humility, he cries for mercy, his faith in my ability to save, this man is declared right before God. Righteousness comes not from our actions, but it comes from Christ alone. It comes from Jesus extending his righteousness to us. That's why he died on the cross. And is why we have the hope in Romans 10:9 that if we confess with our mouth the Lord Jesus as Lord and believe in our heart that God raised him from the dead, that we will be saved.